Welcome to our third teaching in the series, Eat for His Glory. And we're going to be considering a very important topic. I'm telling you, it's going to be life-changing. When and how to eat for His glory. You know, most of the time we think eating is just putting food in our mouth. No, there's much more to that. There's something you can eat and you eat at the wrong time and you have a different feedback from if you eat it at a particular time. Now, it's very important for us to know that food can be medicine or food can be poison. I'll say it again. Food can be medicine, it can be healing, it can bring nourishment to your body, or it can become poison. What makes a difference? Where does the difference come in? The when we eat and how we eat. For example, if you want to really enjoy your cake, please don't eat cake for breakfast and don't eat it for dinner. If you eat cake research shows that if you eat a piece of cake between 12 o'clock and 3 p.m., the effect of that cake on your body, the negative effect, would not be as severe as if you ate it at 9 p.m. at night. Okay. Now, the how. A lot of us need to remind ourselves, I know many of us know this, or if you don't know it, that digestion starts in the mouth. So, how we eat. Do we chew our food well? If you chew your food well, the saliva in our mouth is the beginning of digestion. That's why we are advised not to eat when we are angry. We are advised not to eat when we are too happy. Because at that point, we don't even think, or don't eat with fast music. If you want to eat, when you go to a real organized occasion, even the DJ understands food and how food and all of that combination works. They will not play fast music when people are eating. They play slow music because it helps the mind to calm down, to slow down and chew the food. I am not the teacher of this session, but I thought I should introduce the teacher well by giving us things that are thought-provoking as our teacher comes up. Every time you're eating, ask yourself, am I promoting the kingdom of God or I'm promoting the kingdom of darkness? How do you promote the kingdom of God? You know the when to eat. I have alarm that says stop eating now, meaning after that time, for me, it's 6:45. No, 6:45, but my alarm is at 6:25. I give myself extra 20 minutes. Because I want to be in my bed latest 8:30. Most research would say go to bed with an empty belly, meaning what most food we heard in the healthy food combination, that there's some food you really cannot combine because they take long to digest. Maybe meat, steak. The longest, healthiest meal, they take 2 hours from what I know. I'm only saying what I know. You can only teach according to what you know. Max 2 hours to digest. So if you have to go to bed at 8, the latest time you should put food in your belly should be 6 o'clock. That's the when. So if you decide to eat anytime, you say, I'm a man of God, and I have part of my orolorio, whatever they call it, the thing they give you when you preach, that good word, right? And it came with a bowl of jollof rice and steak. And because I must level every mountain, it's 3 a.m., I must eat. As a matter of fact, I've been fasting for 1 week. If you eat at that time, you're not eating for His glory. That's the time you have to employ all the self-control you know on earth. Because that when is a wrong when. You have to wait. The worst one, if you eat at 3 a.m. and you plan to go to bed at 4 a.m. or maybe 3:30, that's a bad recipe. Now let's look at the how. How we eat. Many of us don't know that food, you can use food as an object of worship. Slowly chew the steak, giving thanks for the God that created cows. You're chewing your veggies slowly, giving God for the glory for creating vegetation. The how matters. and it can be to the glory of the King of Kings. That was a very lengthy introduction. The person I'm about to introduce works with food. Yes, I see people already crying in the chat box. It's okay. It's okay. Because that's the purpose. If you're learning, something needs to shift. If you're learning, something needs to break off. Ignorance is a spirit and it's a mindset. Ouch. So as the word will be coming, it might be hammering the spirit or the mindset. If you're a foolish person, you say, I don't care. But if you're an intelligent person, the Bible says wise will learn and increase in knowledge. You will learn and you increase in knowledge. And what sets us apart is wisdom, meaning the knowledge that we take and we run with. As this teaching is coming forth, if you're listening to us on YouTube, please, I beg you, leave us some comments. Tell us some of the things you're learning. You're listening on Zoom. Let us hear what you're learning. Above all, don't only learn, do it, teach, and teach your children. We saw in our first teaching in this series that a whole lineage went to hell because of what they ate. Kai. They lose their inheritance because they wouldn't eat correct. That's not what we want. And that's not what we want for our lineage and our generation. It's very important to watch when and how we eat. Without much ado, without much talking, let's welcome Mr. Scott Siron. I call him the food bishop. He thinks he knows about food. You hear for yourself. Papa, you have the mic, please.
Thank you, Mama.
You're welcome.
Good evening, good afternoon. Okay, so my my topic for today is when and how to eat for God's glory. The scripture is Romans 14:8. Okay, and it reads that we don't live or die just for ourselves. If we live, we are living for the Lord. And if we die, we are dying for the Lord. So living and dying, we belong to the Lord. Now, the scripture that sparked this sparked this teaching is 1 Samuel 8. So at a later time, I'll come back to that. Now, I'll start with Ecclesiastic 10:17. Now, but if it is very good for a country if the king comes from a good family, and it is very good for a country if the ruler control their eating and drinking. Okay. If the what ruler control their eating and drinking,
My God.
they eat and drink to become strong.
Wow.
So why do we eat and drink?
To
For
become
strength.
strong and not to become drunk. Hey. I like that. Wow.
Okay,
My
so
God.
we eat and drink to become strong.
Mhm.
So we don't drink to become drunk.
Hey.
Do you know that you can go, food also can make you drunk?
Mm, mm, mm.
You can
Wow.
go into a food coma, or you can go in, especially this happened with extreme levels of carbohydrates. It literally gave you the same sensation of drunkenness.
Jesus. I told you.
Okay, well,
I
let's see.
told you. Me, I like to enjoy my life, but I don't know why you all are quiet when you're not muted. Mm.
All right, now let's start with the important function of food. Now, the stomach plays a very important role in food and with our health, with our
Mm.
life, the way we act, react, think, our impulses, It has to do with levels of hormone or balances in the body. And
Mm-hmm.
what contribute to that is our digestive system. So food goes in and it turns into chemicals, which turn into nutrients, which balances and give the body strength. Balances the hormones so we can function optimally. All right, so let's look at what is digestion and what it's consists of. What is the digestive system? Okay, the our digestive system is made up of the gastrointestine, or it's called the GI tract. Now,
Mm-hmm.
did you know that our liver is also a part of our digestive system?
Wow.
The pancreas and the gallbladder. Now, the GI tract is a series of hollow organs that are connected to each other from our mouth. Now, when mom was given the introduction, she said digestion started in the mouth because digestion started in the mouth because it is the first part of the GI tract. Did you know before you even taste a food, our mouth produce a certain level of saliva in preparation for the food. The stomach start to produce acid, awaiting the food to come down. Okay. So now,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's look at this part.
Wow.
The organ that makes up the GI tract, we're gonna look at it in an order.
So do you
Okay.
wait, you were explaining what you're explaining meaning say it again. I think I need to hear
Okay.
that because I heard. I want to hear.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
before we go to
Mm-hmm.
eat, there
Yeah.
is a level of saliva that our mouth produce in
Mm-hmm.
preparation for the food.
Oh yes.
So what happened is that
My God.
the body, we train
Mm-hmm.
our body when to eat. So what happened is we develop a internal clock. So if you used to eat breakfast at 8
Mm-hmm.
and now you said, okay, today I'm gonna fast. At about 7:50, your mouth is already getting ready. The stomach is getting ready because they're already preparing that
Mm-hmm.
something is
Mm-hmm.
coming.
Yes,
So
yes.
now it starts to provide the saliva. So by 8, you're feeling like, oh, I am hungry because your body is in preparation food because that's the time you normally feeds it.
Mm-hmm.
So then it will release stomach acid. Some people, when they fast, they'll say, "Oh, my stomach is hurting," is because those acid has released, and then there is nothing there that's new. So now it starts to work on the old stuff, and you feel the sensation for a while. But to
Mm-hmm.
calm the sensation, drink water, and then it will dilute the amount of acid because that
Mm-hmm.
was just preparation for the food that was coming
Mm-hmm.
from a trained practice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that when we get to the part of fasting, we will look more detailedly into that. But that's just like an introduction. So okay, the order of command of our digestive system. So first we have the mouth, then the esophagus. The esophagus is that long tube from our mouth that goes down to the stomach, and then from the stomach to the small intestine, from the small intestine to the large intestine, and then the last end is when you have to go. So okay, to the anus. All right. So what happened when you eat food, right? You chew it. That's the first breaking down process. Now, the reason why we're told to chew food a lot is because you help the stomach to not work as hard, because the next place that it's going to go to is the stomach. Now, when it's going in the esophagus, there's a pulsation that happens to bring the food down, to let it travel down. So now the body is working. So eating is actually a lot of work for the body. So now from your mouth to the esophagus, now it produces pulsation. So it's squeezing the food, opening and closing to push the food down to the stomach. When it gets down to the stomach does a form of contraction to break the food now that's down there with the acid. So it starts to punch at the food, right? So after it punch it down, it now gets it down smaller to a more nutrients dense formula. Then it goes to the small intestine. But then the liver also, in that breaking down of the pounding, the liver is the filter. So when we eat healthier, the liver have less work, and actually some food can clean the liver as we eat. Some food will inflame the liver. So over time of the liver being inflamed, then you have fatty liver disease, or it leads to other organs where you start to have some organ malfunction, gallbladder, Hashimoto's, and all these other diseases. But it comes from the food, because our digestive system is producing, is breaking down whatever we put inside. So whatever is in the food is breaking it down, and then it's sourcing it to the small intestines, which takes it to different parts of the body to produce the energy that we will need. So if it's bad food, then the liver have to strain, it's like a strainer. So I have to take out some of those toxin and artificial things out of the food. And it normally does not get everything. Okay. So are we here? Are we following?
Yeah,
Following.
Okay. So now the last part that it goes is to, so the after some goes to the small intestine, not all of it goes, because the stomach is also where we store. That's why having a big stomach is very easy, because it's where we also store food. So it's gonna hold on to some and it's gonna send some. So the stomach is the place that will be most likely to get bigger the easiest in our body, because it's the storage place also. So it keeps some to say, okay, if they don't eat lunch, we won't starve. We have something here that we can work with. Are we still here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Papa.
So the parts that the smaller intestine don't use, it puts it now to the anus, and then it's called waste matter, because it takes out everything that it needs from that, and then we pass the rest. All right? We are here. Okay, so now we're gonna look at food that is hard on the digestive system. Now, meats, they're gonna be a bit harder, because they are very protein, the protein density is a lot higher than a plant-based. Um, the amino acid is a lot more stronger than the acid that would be in legumes. So the stomach acid is going to produce more, and that stomach acid is called cortisol. So what happened with meat is cortisol tends to go higher because the stomach has to work harder and longer. Are we here?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
we're here.
Wow.
So when you chew the meat, that's why it's even when, especially meat, when you're eating meat, you want to chew it more so the stomach doesn't have a longer process with it. So meat takes anywhere from about three to 4 hours to digest fully, 3 to 4. Fruits and vegetables, they take anywhere from uh 30 to an hour to digest because the acidity of that veggie is not as dense as meat. It can go faster. The body can go through the process a lot faster. To break it down doesn't take long. The stomach acid is high enough to go through the veggies faster than the meat. Are we still here?
We are
We
here.
are here. I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So now food that are hard on the digestive system is foods that the body has to work harder and longer to digest. So what are some of those food? Artificial sweeteners. And the reason why the body takes longer with artificial sweeteners because it doesn't know it.
Oh.
Yes. Now the reason why it's faster with fruit and veggies is because it knows it. It has all the right properties in there. It's balanced. Artificial sweetener is not balanced. It's very complex. So the body takes longer because it's trying to figure out how much is this to take out, and there's things that they don't know. So it actually goes to storage. Doesn't really get used because the body is like, liver is like, okay, we take this out. I don't know what this is, put it in storage. So it goes to storage. Same thing with sugars, the alcohol. Now you notice that there's a code that is in here. You notice that in Ecclesiastic it says that you don't drink the drunk. And then here, a food that is harder on the body is alcohol on the digestive system.
Yay. Wow.
So you see how the science is catching up with what Daddy says. Okay, so the next thing we have on here is carbonated beverages, really sweetened drinks, refined carbs, white breads. Anything that is refined, it simply means that they have stripped some of the nutrients out of the grain natural form. And so it's harder for the body to deal with because it's not the right balance. Anything that they take out of balance out of the food is harder on the body. So anything basically that man go and mess with, it's harder for the body to deal with. Yeah. So refined bread, that's what it is. So if you got a bread that's unbleached, that is not refined grain, it doesn't hurt you. But most of the breads, they are refined. So really good bread that does not hurt your digestive system will be a quality sourdough. It's not the sourdough that we see at Walmart because that one is also made from refined flour, and then they go to add enzymes. Sourdough is a really good bread because there's some enzyme culture that promote digestion in that bread. But it's not, like I said, it's not the one that's at Walmart. Okay, I will research that bread and I'll show it to us. Cheese.
Don't we have
Food that
healthy
is
cheese?
high in. Okay, so the cheeses that will be good, right? So we're looking, all of these things now that I'm talking about is what men mess with. So these are bad foods because there are gonna be high in not balance. They're going to be high in fat, high in carbs. They're not going to be balanced for the body to process it fast and to use the good stuff, because they stripped some of the nutrients that will create that balance, because they can produce more if they strip it and put how you say, if they when they strip it, they can add their own thing and produce a lot more from that one product. So that's what they do with that. Okay, so cheese and cream. Okay, have you ever heard of 2% milk, 1% milk? Okay, what did they do with the other percent? Or what's in the other 98%?
That's right.
So cheese that is from whole unpasteurized milk is good, because the pasteurization is they heat the milk up to a certain degrees that kills the vitamin D that's in the whole milk that we need, and then they make the cheese from that. That's why when you buy the cheese, it's gonna say pasteurized. Now, if you get a cheese that does not say pasteurized, that's a good cheese. It has all the good properties in there, and then the body can handle that.
Say that again, please. Cheese that
Okay,
is not
so
pasteurized.
that is not
Wow.
pasteurized.
It's good.
Is good.
Okay.
Because pasteurization is the process to strip the milk so they can
Oh my
stretch it.
God.
Yes. Because milk, when you heat the milk up, it expands, so you get more. So pasteurization is a fancy word for heating the milk up to let it expand so we can make more product. Okay, so there's foods that are good for the digestive system, and that is easy on the digestive system. Now remember, we just look at the foods that were bad, and they were bad because they were stripped of their natural properties. Now, food that is good and easy in our digestive system is whole food. All right. Let me understand whole food. Whole food simply means it was not stripped of any of its natural nutritional properties, that everything is there that makes the food digestible, safe for us. Now, all vegetables, potatoes, fruits, strawberries, watermelon, and when you look at like watermelon, for instance, it's known for potassium, but it also have electrolytes and vitamin C, but it works in units. So it's like a vehicle that has all the passenger in there, and it's full and it's going where it's supposed to go. So when you it quenches the thirst because there's electrolyte that provides a lot of hydration, and potassium gives you a lot of energy, and vitamin C that cuts down inflammation, which makes you a lot freer. So you see, when they don't temper with the food, the complexity of the food that God created it with is perfect for the body. The body knows what to do with everything that God's created. That man didn't mess with. Seafood, fish is pretty good. We got meats. Meats is still good, but it takes longer, so it's just the time. So chicken, nuts and seeds, eggs. We got good healthy fat like olive oil, coconut oil, avocados. It's pretty good for us. That is easier on the digestive system because it knows what to do with it. When do we eat? I look at Mark 2:19 and 20. Jesus said to them, he was at a wedding at this point, and there was some group of people, religious people, that are saying, why are your disciples not fasting? So Jesus said, there is a time that they will fast, but right now it's not fasting time. Okay, so let's look at what happens when we fast. Um, Before I go there, so there's good foods, there's bad foods, then there is fasting. Did you know that we fast every day?
Mm-hmm.
So every time we go to bed and there's nothing going in, the body switches to fasting mode. Now, because we're not awake, we're not aware of what the body is doing, but the body is never really not doing something. It's always at work some way. And that's the digestive system when I talk about the body being at work. The digestive system is always at work. Either it's digesting or it's cleaning. Are we still here?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Papa.
Okay. So there is a code. There is a code that is coded in Ecclesiastic 10:16. There is a code. Now I'll get to that code soon. So let's look at yes, there is a code. And this code that mom do this code a lot, but she didn't know it was. Because I know her lifestyle, and she does this code a lot, but she didn't know it. All right. Then the world also caught up on this code and they start doing it. So I'm gonna expose the code now. All right. So what happened when we fast? It's now essentially fasting cleans our body of toxin and force cells into the process that are not usually simulated when we are at the feeding state, or they call it fueling state. Okay. When we fast, the body does not have its usual access to glucose. Now, glucose and cortisol goes hand in hand. Every time you eat, cortisol raises, and glucose is the fuel that it turns food into to give energy. Now, the body can run on two kinds of energy. One is glucose, and the other one is fat. Now, you see, God created our body in such a way that the stomach stores food, turn it into fat. So whenever we don't eat, the body switches from burning glucose to fat burning. And this is what researcher calls ketones or ketosis. Are we still following?
Yes,
Yes,
Oh,
Papa.
okay. Now, in this state, it's not healthy to be in ketosis for too long, because ketosis is a state of cleaning and repairing, and our body is not created to be cleaning and repairing for too long. So Daddy gave us a 10-6 code, 1016, right? 1016 code. Now there is other codes, but the 1016 codes is a good maintenance code, okay, for every human being. 1016 code. All right. So then we go into ketosis. Now in ketosis, we are doing repair at a cellular level. The body start to uses and repair cells. So it starts to use the stored fat now to repair cells as their stomach acid produce, as the stomach produce those acid, it start to eat away at the fat because it's taking that fat and now turning it into ketones, and then the ketones produce I will remember this other thing, mitochondria. And that level now is the cellular level of cleaning, where you have cell repairs, where we actually can change the DNAs, what Mom talked about with food. So people, they came up now with the ketone diet, which now they don't do it from a state of fasting, but a state from feeding fat. So they take glucose from the body, which is anything that is high in carbs is going to turn to glucose or sugar. So in the ketone diet, you will see there is 0 carbs, 0 sugar, because that's what produces glucose. So they feed fat and force the ketone fuel burning switch on. But it was not meant to be forced on. It's a natural occurrence when we do this 10-16 code. Okay, now the 10-16 code is actually Ecclesiastic 10:16. And it says, woe to a man, woe to you, O land, when your king is laid and your princes feast in the morning. Are we catching the code?
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened with breakfast? Now, the breakfast in America is called a mad diet. And then the reason why, because there is a group of scientists, they came up with cereals. And cereals raise cortisol really fast and glucose. So you get a lot more energy, like really fast, but it also raises the blood sugar. You feel so hyper, and by the time it's like 10, you go on a deficit because it was too fast for the body, and then you feel groggy. So then you go for a coffee. And now coffee is also spiking cortisol again. So it's like a life machine. So you go up really fast, drop really fast, and then you say, oh, I need a picker up or something to get me back up. I'm feeling groggy. And then you get the coffee and it picks you up again. And now it's lunchtime. So the body actually never get to rest because cortisol, the level, it goes down, goes up really fast. Every time you put something in your mouth, cortisol comes up, raises the blood sugar. So it's called a mad diet because the body is never at a norm. It's always at a spike or a low. So that's why cereal is really bad. Okay? All right. Okay. Now, the 10-16 code is this. Say you eat your last meal at 6. Then you're breaking at your fast. Now remember, it's called break fast. So when you sleep, you enter into fast mode. So your body is using up all the glucose you have now as you're resting, right? So carbs, okay, this is the when to eat. Carbs should be eaten at lunchtime. And the reason why, because when you go to bed, you want glucose to be at one of its lowest point because the body is going to switch over to ketosis while you sleep. And as you're in ketosis, when you wake up in the morning, drink water. You are actually not hungry, you're thirsty because your body's been working and it needs hydration. So now the code is you don't eat until lunchtime. So you keep your body in ketosis for longer so it can
Mm-hmm.
do the cleaning that it needs. And so when you eat, then you go back to digestion where cortisol comes up again to break food down, to go through the process of the digestive system. So the code is intermittent fasting. Now the world took it by
Mm-hmm.
storm, but it was actually
Mm-hmm.
in the Bible already.
It's in the Bible.
This was already Daddy's plan.
Mm-hmm.
Intermittent fasting. So you skip breakfast to maintain your health because breakfast is breaking the cleaning process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have balance though. Don't worry. We it's the whole package. So
Mm-hmm.
you notice that Jesus said there's a time to fast and there's a time to feast.
Mm-hmm.
And feasting does not mean overeating.
Uh-uh. Needs quality. Mm.
Exactly. Okay, so now we know the 10-16 code. So you can eat say you're gonna eat proteins and fat, right? And say the carb that you will eat will come from veggie, which is not high. So if you're gonna have like asparagus or say your dinner is a salad with steak or salad with fish, it's completely fine because the carbohydrates in veggies is not as high as in breads or pasta or potato.
Mm-hmm.
So glucose won't be as high. There will be a good balance. So
Mm-hmm.
now when you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, drink your water, you will realize that, oh, I'm actually full. I really actually don't really need to eat. And you realize that you can go until like midday. You're like, oh, I think I'm about hungry now. That's the right time. So I've seen mom does that where she can be going, and I see my own self do it. Like if I eat at 6 and I don't eat again, I wake up, I'm just working. Maybe till even 2 in the afternoon. I'm like, oh, I need to eat. My gosh, I forgot I didn't eat anything because I really didn't need to eat anything.
Mm.
What happens to a person that wake up every morning, eat breakfast, snack in between, eat lunch, snack in between lunch, then eat dinner? Well, they program their body to raise cortisol every quarterly. So every quarterly stomach acid is going to be produced, and they're going to say, "I'm hungry," but it's actually a false alarm. You're actually
Mm.
not hungry. It's actually a trained behavior that you can
Mm-hmm.
retrain.
Yes.
Mm. And let me put
So
this: hunger is not in your head; it's in your belly.
Yes.
yes, it's the
Ah.
Yes.
stomach. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So if you start feeling, I feel it's not in your feelings as well.
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
that I need to eat. Check your belly. Is your belly
Check your belly.
grouchy? Is
Yeah.
it hurting
Mm-hmm.
you? Then you know you're truly hungry. It's
And
not
the
in your
reason
brain.
why you say you
Mm-hmm.
feel hungry is because remember, everything is connected. So the spinal cord goes down and it's still connected to the belly. So our immune system, actually, I think 85% of the immune system is in the stomach. But they never tell us that. They never tell us that what we eat, that food is actually medicine, because
Mm-hmm.
it is.
Yes.
95% of autoimmune diseases, whether it's high blood pressure or arthritis, or it's from the food. And mostly
Mm.
it's from excess carbohydrates because
Mm-hmm.
too much
Mm-hmm.
carbs stored produce fat and inflammation because
Yes.
there's no balance. And then you have pH problems in the stomach reflux is also a product of eating, bloating, vomiting, nausea. All of it has to do with the right balance of pH in the stomach. So it's all the stomach. So your stomach is like a second brain, and it's telling you. So you hear mom would say, listen to your body. That's more accurate, is listen to your stomach. So when you put something down in the stomach and the stomach doesn't like it, it gives you a reaction and you go, oh, I don't feel it. That means don't put that thing down here. We don't like it. And most likely, most of the time, it's going to be something that we really like. Because there's another
when I said,
culprit.
Papa, when I said listen to your body, it's not to your emotions, though. Yes.
Oh no, I know you're talking
That's why they say your body is a feedback machine. You don't want to get up. Why? You need energy, or you've taken too much energy.
Yes. Yes.
You know? So your body is a feedback machine. Don't forget that. It's one thing you're taking from here. Your body is a feedback machine. Papa Miles Morone said he never wrote his thesis at Oral Robert without fasting. And the reason is simple. All his energy is in his brain. He's not using energy to digest any food.
Yes.
And then another thing, most inventors, when they want to invent, you don't know, you might not know this. They go somewhere and sit there, they don't eat. They might not call it fasting. They will tell you that I am more focused when I'm not eating. My dear, it's fasting.
It's fasting.
It's true.
They are drinking water, or they are drinking some healthy juices, and they are thinking. Why? Because at that point, all their nutrient is focusing on thinking and not on digestion. So Papa, the things Papa is saying, they are powerful. Powerful. Papa, go ahead. Let me show you can
Yes. And then one of the reason why fasting works so powerful with thinking is because of the fuel system. It's ketone. It's switched to fat burning. And then majority, I think it's like 95% of the brain is fat. So you're actually giving the brain the right food. And then there's a spiritual aspect of the belly, from the belly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the culprit that I was talking about next this is a very sneaky guy, and not many people talk about him, but he's a real pest. And this guy is called stomach worms. And it's not the one that you will pass out. He is the guy that loves sugar. And every time you go to starve him, he's rebelling. And he's like, I don't care. We tired of water, all of this healthy stuff. We need sugar, and we need it now.
Yeah.
And
What is he called? You said the grumpy guy. What did you call him?
It's a worm. It's a worm, but we need it. It's a part of our body. I need to remember his name. I've done a research on why we crave sugar, and scientists have mastered this. This is what they do with cereals and drinks. They put the perfect amount of sugar. Yes. That stimulate that dopamine guy and keep you addicted. So
okay, for the sake of this recording, it says 60% of our brain is fat.
60%. Okay.
Yes. I wanted to add. You're welcome.
Yes.
Papa, before you leave the brain, so if your wife is, no, you're a married man, but I'm not talking to your wife. So if a woman is cranky, because women are known to be cranky and throwing tantrums, so should we ask them to go eat nuts, since maybe their brain needs some fat, or what do we do?
Well,
it's a serious matter. Don't listen.
Yeah. Okay. Let me answer it, because I have the answer.
Amen.
So actually, it's actually more than just the brain when it comes to the crankiness. It's actually there is a balance that is off. So with women, it's not as straight as men because because of the hormonal. Women has more stuff happening in the body than men. Well, for instance, like the period cycle. Women lose a lot of iron, so you see that doctor always recommend iron. Most women is deficient in iron, and it throws the balance off. And sometimes you're so cranky and you're just iron deficient.
Ooh, that's good. So maybe iron and fat together then.
Yes. So most women always need, and then they tell women not to eat a lot of fat, but it's not true because you need fat and you need iron. Most women is deficient in iron and fat.
Yes.
So it's the balance. Dr. Mandy, she explained it so well with how to fast as a woman and how to eat to keep your balance in accordance so you're not so cranky. But yeah, most women is anemic, different iron deficiency. Because every time you go through period cycle, you're losing a lot of iron and you don't replenish it back.
Miss Chunga, I know you're here. You can hear that. She's gonna be like, yes, mama. Hey. Because she and I, we have a smoothie that we want to practice. We are planning to do after the fast, and it's a iron loaded smoothie. So we need those ions. That's the confirmation. We need to load ourselves. I will share the smoothie with you all. Every woman share it. I like to drink beetroot juice when I have my pink lemonade friend. I don't. It makes a huge difference. It takes your energy up. It cleans your blood. It makes the flow better. It does so much.
Yeah,
So that
iron
particular
and vitamin D, mama.
iron and vitamin D. Okay, that's good.
That's why
You can get
it's in fat. Vitamin D is in fat. It's not only the sun. It's fat. Fatty food is loaded with
sardine is one of the best food. So
Yes.
vitamin D.
Very good.
And we need omega-3. Actually, omega-3 is not being talked about as much, but our body does not produce it, but it's great for the body, especially when it goes hand in hand with vitamin D and iron. It helps to absorb it, makes it a complete nutrient dense balancing you know what I mean. I'm trying to come up with the words, but they go well together, and they will take the drugginess. It will make you more alive and happy. Yes. Okay. So I have a question from verse 1 Samuel 18. Now, what if priest Eli have done the 10:16 code? Do you think he would have died like that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And then when you look at his sons, they were eating a lot of meat. And remember that meat takes the longest to digest. And they was eating it even like with the blood.
It wasn't cooked. It wasn't fully cooked.
So you now
These stuff
see
are coming out.
why they were so overweight. But you have to also ask, where did they learn it from? Because Daddy was a heavy man. He was very fat. I'm not pointing fingers. We're looking in the word. So we see that this is actually for our benefit. Then you look at Isaiah 58. It says, a part of fasting is that your healing will spring forth.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. So you see that 1016 code that is maintenance plan for the human body, for our body. It's not for kingdom citizens only, it's for anyone who use it. And then I said this code is one of many because we have the Esther fast, we have Daniel fast. So it's one of many code, but it is a maintenance code. So when should we eat? When we are celebrating, we should eat, but then go back to our routine. So eating should be done on a routinic basis, not on emotional basis.
Feasting, you mean?
So routinic means, okay, I live the 10-20, 10-16 code. So when I eat my dinner at 6, I'm not gonna put food in my mouth anymore. I can drink, but I won't eat. I will not eat breakfast. And then now on the weekends, you can feast. So you do it for 5 days, then you feast. In that feasting is you're having family time. So now you can enjoy foods with your family and all of that. Then Monday, you go back to your routine eating. With that schedule, you will have a healthy body every time because you also enjoy life, you enjoy food, but then you also give your body enough time to heal and clean.
Oh.
Are we getting it?
Yeah.
And when you look at mom's lifestyle, when she changed from her, I can make a transformational video about mom, and it will sell millions. And the reason why is
Papa, let's
because
make it all. Let's make this video. We make some
mom
money.
was
It's true.
It's true.
when mom was walking up the stairs, I remember mom could not go up the stairs. And why? Because mom was not doing this code. No, daddy led mama to do this code without she even knowing. Mom will not eat breakfast. She will have a set time that she will eat dinner and she will not fast. But every now and then, like we go out, she'll eat breakfast, we'll have breakfast. But then come Monday, she'll go back. But she was doing this without knowing. See? And now the result that mom has, she have lost so much weight. She is more healthier. She can run up the stairs. She can walk with no pain. It was this code that you were using all along. And then sometimes she will use the Esther code. Sometimes she will use the Daniel code. But each time, you see, it's a time to fast and a time to feast, just like Jesus said.
Papa, this is a book. Oh. You've already written a book like this. Just publish it. I'm bring the honorarium for using me as
So
true now.
when to eat is you have a routinic system that you follow. Then on the weekends, then you can enjoy your family. Then you go back to your routine. So you keep a balance. You're not depriving yourself. You're still enjoying life, but you're also still taking good care of your body. In this way, you give daddy glory when you eat, and you also set an example for your generations because your children will be watching you and they will get the principle because we need reward. Daddy make us for reward. So on the weekends is your reward time. So you won't put some people, they go to the extreme where it's every time. So Then because you have not given yourself a reward, it becomes like a jail cell. And the body, we don't like to be in a jail cell. We like freedom. So they will mess it up and get off completely because they did not give themselves that reward time on the weekend. So now it becomes hard. So you have to give yourself the reward time. Like Jesus said, fasting, feasting. If you don't do it in that order, it's not gonna work. Do we get it? I know we get it. So to conclude this session, we should have eating routine on whole foods and periodic fasting. We also should celebrate and feast when we fellowship, but then return back to our routine of whole foods and periodic fasting. Amen.
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 Wow.
Wow.
I told you it was gonna be wow. My God.
Thank you, Papa Scott.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Papa
Thank you,
Scott.
Papa Scott.
How
You're
Wow.
was
welcome.
covered, oh child. The how was covered well. I'm glad we're recording so we can go back and listen.
Yes.
A few things that I want to highlight and then we'll be out of here. Number one, looking at the scripture that he gave us from the beginning, I want to read that scripture so you see something. Especially parents, Mr. Vine, Mr. Mama Scott, all of you parents, everyone is a parent. Ecclesiastes, before we go to 10:16 is too direct. Let's go to 17. He said, but it is a very good thing for a country if the king comes from what? A good family, a blessed or a noble family. And he's talking about food. So teaching people to eat, nutrition should start from home.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes.
And it's very good for a country if the ruler control their eating and drinking. It needs to start from home, meaning we do it well. You're not overdoing and you're not doing less. They eat and drink to become what? Strong and not drunk. I remember one day when one of our children had eaten, I think 3 croissants at once. I was like, it's not going to work like that. They've already eaten. I could have told they've eaten. No, teach, discipline, so they don't do it again. This one says, a country is blessed when the king is from a noble family, when the high officials eat at the right time in order to what? Gain strength and not to be drunk. America, you give them 7 meals a day, and then their body becomes storage. Or how do we call it again? Freezer.
Deep freeze.
Storing deep freezer.
No cleaning.
My God.
My God. Then you're blaming the child. Okay, there you go. You say, my child they like cheese. And then by the time your child is coming, all we are seeing is the belly. We don't see the child. From baby, my baby likes this one arrow. No matter what. This child not taking. This child don't want this. Mama, I tell you. Who is the parent? Who is the parent? You or the child? See, the child don't want it. He said, brother, sit down here and eat your eggs. I don't want egg. I only want cheese. You put cheese on the egg and eat. I know I'm making it dramatic, but there's so much to learn here. If you look at 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says, whatever we eat, we should eat for the glory of God. The question is, do you eat for the glory of God? Now, I want to bring the balance, because if you read another translation, it says if you eat broccoli, you eat it praising God. If you eat steak, praising God. Don't get to these extremes. I've done the research I can give you. There are people that don't touch one carbohydrate. Now, when we talk about carbs now, Papa said it's not eating refined grains. Eat potatoes. Go to the store, buy a healthy organic potato. Come on. You don't want to bake it. Okay, chop it small. Put it in a pot. Don't cook it too much. Put water. When it's steam, close the pot. Let it steam cook it for you, the rest. This is what I did the other day. You put it, then take a little bit of butter, mix it with it, and then fry it. Not fry as to fry, just put it on heat. The back is a little crunchy. And then I chop. Didn't you all say we shouldn't eat meat? So I was doing my own thing that could make me enjoy now. I chop celery, I put celery on the top.
You should
And then I
have
chop
seen
avocado.
mine.
Oh my God, we should have shared pictures. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Mama.
Last night, what would I have done?
Let me not send my own on recording because people laugh me. I almost vomited.
Say bye.
No, make it enjoyable.
Make it enjoyable. Work with your food. The other day I made squash. I finished making the squash. I sauteed the squash. I put small black pepper. The way the thing looked, if you saw it, you want to eat it. That's why I said today I have to eat my butcher box because I have so fat. No, I know the suffer is the front. I'm messing with that part, but this is what I'm explaining. Yes, you know there are people that give their skin this kind of giving your belly that rest of not having food for 2 hours or to walk on food for 2. It's good. Sometimes you can don't eat meat. Don't eat meat, no fish.
For a while.
For a while, yes. It does. It affects your complexion, your skin color.
Everything.
You know, many of us have not seen our skin color because we eat too much junk.
Too much junk.
A few things I wanted to highlight when it comes to food combination, when to eat, how to eat, eating for daddy's glory. You want to watch company.
True.
Now you have listened to this. Very soon you say, it's buying a meeting now. They must bring arrow. What else will I eat in your house before you eat? Is something wrong with arrow? No, I'm just giving an example. Everything you eat in moderation is good.
Yeah, you know we Africa like our African food. Oh, no matter what.
Yeah, like but then there are some African food that is like a curse. How are you going to pan for food corn in a matter for 3 hours and eat for 30 minutes?
That was soup.
No, it's not correct. You're turning arrow. You cook arrow for 2 hours and then you sit and eat for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Somebody shared something with me that changed me. Somebody told me something. He said if that food takes more than 30 minutes to cook, it is not food. I said, huh? If you're going to cook it for more than 30 minutes, it is not food. You spoiled everything. And number 2, if it's the requirement, that this food needs to be cooked for 30 minutes, they have already told you that thing you're about to eat is not food.
Wow.
Social eating is another thing. So I'm just eating because I'm among people. Hey! When that nutrient has entered your body, it's like Mount Zion that don't want to be removed. Especially the junk. Don't eat for social or stress eating. People say I'm eating because I'm stressful. No. I've been there. I understand how you can be pushed to go to food because somebody is really on or saying things you won't want to hear. But the truth is that after that, you will pay more. If you just go find your blanket, maybe cover your head. I don't know what you need to do, but don't go to food. Don't make food your stress reliever. Food is not a therapist.
That's right.
Don't go to places and just eat because everybody's eating. When there was a time when I really dropped weight and I was intentional. I'm telling you, my husband was looking at me like, this is my son, you are really disciplined and weird. We are going to visit somebody. I will only eat steak and vegetables, fresh vegetables. So we're about to go visit. I remember one of his friends had a baby. And I had my steak and vegetable in the car. Before we step out to go to their house, I said, Daddy, please give me a minute. He had an option. Either you go ahead of me or you sit there and let me eat first. I have to eat my steak and my veggie before I even step out of the car to go to the person's house. Your food is late. My belly is full. Oh, you didn't hear that. My belly is full. I already have food in my belly. If you eat healthy, I'm telling you, even your brain will work better, your attitude, the way you interact. Do you know some body odors as a result of food? I'm not talking garlic. Somebody said, Mama, please don't go there. Okay, I will not go there. It's okay. Do you know some body odor is because we need to detoxify. We have overused food that has clogged our body.
That's true.
Too much dead food. Your food is.
Too much dead food.
Too much dead food.
Auntie.
On top of the
That's the
freezer.
way he eats all kind of it. So he go and see the doctor. Then the doctor said, go and change your food habits. My God.
Hey!
The doctor
Doctor.
Then the doctor told her what to eat. So he started to eat that food. A whole smell change.
Exactly.
I feel wow.
It does. It does. There's body odor that's not demonic. There's a demonic one. But most of it is the diet.
Yes.
Even though we know hygiene has a place, because if you're not showering well, your body will smell as well.
Yes.
You're not cleaning your armpit, shaving, and all of those. You can have smells. But there's some that is food. My family. Me, I've done my part. That's your mama. I have heard. I have delivered. We have brought guest speakers. They have spoken to us. It's now in our own side of the court. This is a month of glory. Bring him glory in every area possible. You can sit there and say, I'm a very angry person, but it could be your diet. I'll give you a practical example. I saw a couple, and the biggest challenge in that house was that the woman was too moody. The woman is not as lively as she was before. By the time we checked, the woman was on a gluten-free diet, and it is expensive. So she will minimize her food. There are times she will go a whole day without eating so she can have food to rationalize.
My God.
But she was deficient of nutrients, and where the problem was the brain. Only the Holy Spirit could have revealed. I saw them for like 2 months in therapy, and I couldn't break the code because I always pray for my clients. And then all of a sudden, that morning, I had to go to them. I'm praying in tongues. I said, Lord, help me with this client. They were my early morning clients. Help me with this client. What is going on? And boom, they asked her about her nutrients. How does she eat? That was a code. Got broken like that. It's very important to eat. So as you finish this fast today, get a steak and eat it. It's okay. Eat it. You've heard. Eat it in the afternoon so that by the evening you don't have a problem. Take care of your temple. Your body is a gift. There are people that have gone to heaven before their time because they didn't take care of their body.
True.
Healing is available, but if you keep abusing it, it won't help you. Somebody says, I will just eat and be healed. My God, you have a problem. You do. Let's give a hand to Papa Scott. Thank you so much. You make up your mind, you're in for rewards. And the most beautiful thing is that the rewards in this kingdom are for here and now. It's for here and now and the life after.